The Grand Slam track situation is still a situation. And hey, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. This video is about as organic, as raw as it possibly can get. Out here with my family, celebrating the holiday, but we got to talk about it. So I'm just going to rip the Band-Aid off. Let's have this discussion, because when we talk about Grand Slam track, professional and, the money, because, this is a money conversation. I mean, we might as well have the real conversation. So an article came across, I guess my inbox, where I got to read it about what's going on with the money right now for Grand Slam track. And to spare you the details, I'll try to link it in the description below. But in short, Grand Slam track right now, people kind of know they've been running out of money, but that has not changed. So when it comes to the money, they have a bunch of outstanding debts. Earlier this year, they paid about half of the money that they owed to the athletes. Again, I believe the number is half, and that money has already hit their accounts. So everybody wants to see the athletes get paid. I totally get that. That's good. That's a great thing. And, I think two things can be true. Let me get out in front of this, because I attended a Grand Slam track event in Miami or Miramar area, where I do believe they gave us some of the greatest, pro track events that we could attend. Certainly from like a start to finish, like sporting product. Like it was engaging, it was fun, but at the same time, commercially, it wasn't a success. And as a result, they have a whole bunch of vendors that they owe. Now, everybody did work, whether it was, television broadcasting, things that happened live, all of that, and they have to pay these people back, and they're in the process of trying to do so. So they got cash before, but now when it comes to the new situation, they are basically telling all the vendors, because they haven't paid them all off yet, that they're not going to be able to pay them off. Like, just being straight with you, they're like, hey, we're not going to be able to pay all of the vendors. And when it comes to, how to handle the money, the goal is for them to pay 50% of all the money that they owe to the outstanding vendors. Now, if you're an athlete, I don't really know where that puts you. I don't know if that means they're going to give the athletes, like your Kenny Bednareks and, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden and McLaughlin-Levrone. I don't know if this means they're going to get 100% of their money and the vendors are going to get half. I don't know that. Just going off head here, just going through the article. It focused mostly on the vendors. But they're at a point where they need all the vendors to agree to receive 50% payouts. Now, when we say agree, let me get to, again, I said, we're going to have the conversation. Let's have the real one. So let's rip the Band-Aid off. It appears that if Grand Slam track can't get the vendors to agree to this, you can't even call it a buyout. It's just kind of like, this, payout situation, 50% on the dollar or 50 cents on the dollar for everything, then they're going to file for bankruptcy. If that happens, that means Grand Slam track is going to be no more. So the league is trying to avoid bankruptcy. That's what's actually happening. And I get it. I understand why they want to avoid bankruptcy. But if that is part of the discussion, then okay, fine. You avoid bankruptcy, and let's just say everybody agrees. Because if one vendor doesn't agree, they're like, hey, we're just going to file for bankruptcy. So they kind of need a united front. And if you're a vendor, first, this is two conversations. For the vendors, they're saying, well, either we get nothing, because they're going to file for bankruptcy, or we get something. So I think they're going to take something. But even if you do, all these vendors who they worked with to put on what we just witnessed as Grand Slam track, what we just witnessed, like what we just saw as the league or the stage or the events, I don't see any of these vendors coming back in the future. Personally, I don't see it. I could be wrong, but I doubt it. Because Grand Slam track going forward, because this is what it's really about, because 2026 was always the best time for Grand Slam track to go forward. In my opinion, it was always going to be 2026. But if you're new here, I want to say thank you for even making it this far into the video. And I'm Coach Rob, and if you really want to know what's going on with the fastest athletes in the world, then you are in the right place. And if anything that I say actually connects with you, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe. But if I don't, just let me know in the comment section, because I try to read them all. Now, let's just say 2026 comes and they try to do something, even if it's just one slam. I don't think it can look anything like what we just witnessed. First off, there's the financial scope of it, because all the money they spent, we know it was now untenable. And two, then you have the trust issue. But like I said, all these vendors you just worked with, I don't necessarily see how these vendors are going to be people who are just going to agree like, yeah, let's go work with Grand Slam track again, who paid us 50 cents on the dollar. Because how can you believe or trust what it is committed to? So, I think a lot of people see that side. But now it does make me think about, well, what would the future of Grand Slam track actually become? Like, let's just assume for a moment, because I'm going to go here. I'm going to assume that the money gets paid. Like, the 50% goes through, all the vendors agree, because it's like, hey, do we get 50 cents or nothing? It'd be kind of vindictive, if you ask me. I think that's the word I'm going to choose. if people just say, hey, go ahead, file for bankruptcy, and, either way, we're going to sue because we want all of our money. And we do already have on record in the article, like one of the vendors saying that they feel taken advantage of. And that might be true. But the reason why I say that, okay, let's live in the world where the money gets paid, the 50%. And let's just say the athletes agree on some type of a buyout, maybe at 75% or, whatever it is. Yeah, I mean, if that happens, then what? Because when we do a Grand Slam track event next year, is it 1 day? Is it 2 days? Are we still doing the point system? Are we, are it going to be all the same events? I mean, they weren't doing field, so it was always Grand Slam track, not Grand Slam track and field. Like, what is the future going to look like? Because what we just saw was a step in a direction, but they clearly have to take significant steps back from what we just saw in order to go forward in any way, shape, or form. I think that's really what I'm thinking about as I consider the future. Now, I had a whole bunch of ideas about the future of Grand Slam track, what they could do to kind of, take it to another level. At the end of the day, I've said, and I will continue to stand on this, the only thing that we need for pro track to really thrive in the sport is you just need all hands on deck. You just need everybody to go in the same direction. And if you can't get that, it won't work. So Grand Slam track was the closest thing that I can remember to getting a whole bunch of people going in the same direction for the advancement of pro track or pro events. I mean, they gave us Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, Kenny Bednarek, Melissa Jefferson-Wooden, even in the distance, you had, Grant Fisher, on the women's side, you had, so many, top athletes, even when you look at whether it was mid-distance or what have you. Like, if you like track, then they gave you what you wanted. They gave you great competitions, great performances. I mean, yeah, there were things that, were to be desired, but it was great if you actually enjoy track. I mean, nothing against the Diamond League. It had its positives, it had its benefits, but it also had its drawbacks, it had its flaws. And with Grand Slam track, at least we had some degree of expectation of who we were going to see compete and that they were going to actually try, like run like it mattered because the prize money was there. I think the prize money is the thing that obviously has to change. I think everybody knows that. But then clearly, it wasn't just the prize money when it comes to paying the vendors. So this is a rough situation. It's far from ideal. Nobody wants to see this. I don't want to see this. I'm still in Grand Slam track's corner as far as wanting to see it thrive, see it succeed. It's just, this is where we're starting negotiations. And if we're going to have any conversation about the future of Grand Slam track, it's going to start with basically surviving or avoiding bankruptcy. I think that's where we're at right now. That's where the league is at. And we're going to find out by December 5th. I think that's the date that was mentioned. December 5th is when we're going to find out what the future of the league is going to be, at least on this front. So, hey, just rip the Band-Aid off. I was like, hey, let's just go through the information, lay it out there. The Grand Slam track, money, conversation, which I've followed a lot on this channel and as well as covered the league. And I mean, still I am a supporter, but I think it'd be disingenuous if I don't call things out or, have real discussion on this platform. I would like to believe that you all want that from me. So as I get information and, I think I can digest it and responsibly go through it. And if I get new information on this, I will share it. But for now, this is what it is. And it's ironic that it was about a year ago that I had a conversation about Grand Slam track and Michael Johnson's desire to save the sport of track. And for that matter, it was at the time, we were talking about Tara Davis Woodhall's opinions on it as a field athlete. And I know that video went out and a lot of people got to see the discussion. And that was about a year ago today. It was Thanksgiving time that video went out. It was a finish line conversation. And here we are a year later, which is not where I wanted to be, not where they want to be, not where I even think track fans want to be. And nobody wins if Grand Slam track doesn't survive. And nobody wins if Grand Slam track does not thrive. So no matter where you land in the comments, I'm pretty sure we are all in agreement that we want to see the sport of track, or track and field for that matter, grow, thrive, succeed at the highest level. Michael Johnson tried to give us a league that could do that. Obviously, a lot of things went wrong. That's fair. A lot of things went wrong. And we can talk about it. And I've already talked about it. But let us keep the main thing. That if Grand Slam track succeeds, we all do. But if Grand Slam track fails, which this is a discussion we're having right now, we all fail. And I don't see anybody coming to save track anytime soon, or for that matter, track and field anytime soon, whether it's Michael Johnson or not. In the sport of track and field, confidence is everything, because when you win, that is just the moment when everybody else finds out what you already knew to be true, that fast is a lifestyle. Get your Fast at the Lifestyle track and field gear at scarecruiting.com/shop or use the link in the description below. It's a huge support to me and this channel, so I can continue to make you more content like this. And remember, it is always greatly appreciated if you would please like and subscribe.